Hey, welcome back. Today I wanted to do a video that is targeted for beginners in makeup. More specifically, if you're an adult beginner in makeup, this can really kind of apply to any age group, but I feel like a lot of comments that I get on my videos are people saying, I'm in my 30s, my 40s, and I never really took the time to learn makeup. So this is kind of just going to be a crash course on where to start. It's not necessarily on how to apply everything. I feel like most of my videos are pretty, kind of pretty standard for no matter what level you are at with your makeup technique. So this is going to be a run through of products to start out with if you just feel overwhelmed. If you don't know where to start or where to kind of like build up from, these are products and kind of some techniques I would recommend for you to kind of start or begin your journey in wearing makeup. So let's go ahead and start. I want to start out with brushes because there are so many great affordable starter brush sets out there, whereas 5-6 years ago, really people had to splurge to invest in brushes. I'm going to list every set down below that I can think of that would be great for beginners, but off the top of my head, Real Techniques at Ulta, their sets are generally buy one, get one half off. At Walmart, you can pretty much go to any drugstore now and find a good starter brush set. I know Walmart has that brand called Moda, which is very similar to Real Techniques. Really great affordable set to start out with. I love Morphe eye brushes just for really quick basic eye brushes. I'm not a huge fan of just Morphe products in general, but I will say they do make great affordable brushes. So just checking your local drugstore and your local Ulta. But just in general, I think that Real Techniques and Morphe are two really good brands to start out with. You don't have to invest a lot and you can easily find them at your nearest Ulta. Now for foundation, this is where some might disagree with me on, because I know when I've heard people in the past, especially at like Sephora, who are like, hey, I'm just getting into makeup, I don't really know where to start. A lot of the times people will say, oh, just look at the bestsellers list on Sephora or the bestsellers list on Ulta, or just find a good medium coverage like top rated foundation. Personally, I think it's best to start out with something pretty lightweight, especially if you're not used to seeing yourself with makeup, you've just never really been into makeup. It can be very intimidating when you apply a traditional foundation full on your skin for the first time. And I think that's what turns off a lot of people when they start getting into makeup. So many products on the market right now are full coverage or just high pigment, and it just, not only are they intimidating to work with, but they can just look a little much for someone who's not used to makeup. So what I would suggest is looking into a tinted moisturizer, a skin tint. One of my favorite affordable drugstore base products is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Skin Tint. Such an innovative formula. I'm wearing it right now. It is very light coverage, but it has this unique gel texture to it to where it looks like skin. It doesn't look like foundation sitting on top of your face. You can use your hands to apply it. You can use a brush, a beauty blender, whatever you're comfortable with applying it, and it looks super natural. And when you start out with something like a skin tint or something with less pigment, you can kind of create a range for yourself and go from there. You can say like, hey, this is something that I feel like maybe is a little bit too light coverage for me. And then to explore something that might have more of a medium coverage to it. Or you might be happy with the coverage level on something like a tinted moisturizer, and from that point on that that's the type of coverage that you like. You get what I'm saying? Just kind of start at that lighter realm and work your way up. Some other options that I really like are bareMinerals Complexion Rescue, the Hourglass Illusion Hyaluronic Skin Tint. This is a really nice one. Both have SPF in them. Glossier Skin Tint is a super, super, super sheer formula. Like if you're just completely scared of makeup or wearing something on your face, this is a good one to start out with. The NudeStix Tinted Blur Stick, another very, very, very sheer, lightweight product. So I would definitely put these two in a category for those of you who feel like you don't like face makeup, but maybe you want a little bit of color, a little bit of extra glow to your skin. Those are some things to look into. So I'll have a few more recommendations down below, but overall, I think starting out in that really natural light coverage side is really going to help a lot of you decide on what you really want out of a base product. I also wanted to mention that powder foundation is also a really great place to start when it comes to a base product. This is actually how I started getting into makeup, the bareMinerals Original Powder Foundation. If you're not familiar with my channel, I think I can easily say I probably have more powder foundation videos on YouTube than any other person out there. I've been releasing them for 7-8 years now. So if there's a powder foundation topic out there, I've probably covered it. So I will link my bareMinerals and powder foundation playlist down below if you think that you might want to go that route instead of a traditional, like liquid or tinted moisturizer type product. So some of you might be thinking, well, I have hyperpigmentation or acne or scarring and I feel like I need a bit more coverage. This is where I would recommend investing in a fuller coverage concealer. And the reason I recommend doing that is because you can kind of customize your coverage level when you have a fuller coverage concealer. I more commonly recommend stick concealers. I just love stick concealer formulas. Not only are they generally a little bit thicker in consistency, so they cover a bit better, but they generally have more pigment as well. My favorite is the bareMinerals Bare Pro Stick Concealer. I use this as my foundation sometimes. Again, when you have a full coverage concealer, not only can you use it for just concealer, but you can use it as an all-over kind of foundation. I've been recently using the Marc Jacobs one, pretty high coverage formula. Just stick concealers in general, I think, are so versatile and easy to use. And not only do they allow you for like target application, but again, they have generally a fuller coverage to them. So you can actually go in and cover the areas that are needed as opposed to using a full coverage foundation and applying that all over, if that makes sense. So yeah, looking into a concealer that has a bit more coverage to it, I think again, is really going to help you kind of play around and manipulate the coverage level with your makeup. For powder, there's really nothing more that I could recommend other than investing in a good translucent powder. The reason I would recommend a translucent powder is because it is so layerable. You can reapply it throughout the day without messing up your makeup. It's not going to cake or add pigment or alter the color of your foundation. It's kind of just like a foolproof product. Sets your makeup in place, gives you a bit of shine control, and I mean, that's what else could you possibly want from a powder, The reason I say invest in kind of a better translucent powder is some of them can be a bit on the chalky side. They can have a bit of a white cast to them. One that I've really been enjoying is actually the Fenty Beauty translucent powders. Now these are kind of semi-translucent. They have a touch of tint to them, but not enough to where it's going to alter the color of your foundation. My shade in the Fenty is Butter. Really nice powder. I was very surprised by it. Laura Mercier obviously is a cult favorite. The By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra powder. If you're looking for a splurge powder, that one would be it. So many great translucent powders on the market right now. You can touch up with them throughout the day and they're never going to make your face look cakey. They only make your face look better. So translucent all the way. I'll have some of my favorite recommendations down below. So as far as your accessory makeup goes, like your blush, your bronzer, and your highlighter, kind of like your finishing touches, this is not a life-altering secret. It's not something that is, gonna like change your world up, but I would really recommend for beginners looking into some multi-use palettes or some multi-purpose palettes, ones that have all of those products in them so you can literally just keep it on your desk, play around with the tones, figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you might want to look into doing differently in a color scheme next time you decide to purchase your blush or your bronzer. This one's from Charlotte Tilbury. It is a bit of a splurge, but I love these palettes from her. They're called Instant Look and a palette. They always have 3 eyeshadows, 2 blushes, a bronzer, and a highlighter. I travel with these. I absolutely love them. They're great quality. But yeah, just having something like this already put together, it's not going to overwhelm you. Your shades are right there, and it really just allows you to very easily play with your kind of accessory colors. So if you're not looking to splurge this much on a palette, Tarte makes some phenomenal multi-use palettes. I'll link some down below that are available right now, so you can kind of look into different color schemes and decide what you might like. Now, I know those palettes are generally going to have eyeshadows in them, but you guys know I couldn't get away with this video without recommending my personal favorite and what I think is easiest for eyeshadow, and that's cream eyeshadow sticks. So Laura Mercier caviar sticks, the CoverGirl Queenship shadow sticks, Sephora makes their own shadow sticks. These, we all know, if you're familiar with my channel, I'm a fiend for these. I absolutely live and die by a good Laura Mercier caviar stick. Right now, Sephora and Nordstrom, they have holiday caviar stick sets from Laura Mercier where you can get like 4 or 5 of her caviar sticks for a pretty good value. I know a lot of people who watch my channel just aren't willing to invest the money in these. So if you've always wanted to try them, there are holiday sets right now and they're great value. But if you are confused on how to apply cream eyeshadow, it's the easiest thing in the world. I'll link my how to use cream eyeshadow video down below. Once you discover how easy these are to use, I guarantee you, you're just like, you're going to be floored. I don't even want to look at eyeshadow palettes anymore. I'm not interested in eyeshadow palettes. It really takes a cool color scheme to get me interested, because I have everything I need in these little sticks right here. They're so easy to use. You can use your fingers to apply them. They require little effort, and I think that's just kind of what beginners are looking for. So I will list those sets down below if you think that you might want to get into cream eyeshadows. I promise you, they're super easy. Once you've done it a few times, you can really get the hang of the shades that you like and how you like to apply them. Eyebrows are another very subjective thing. I really hesitate to recommend eyebrow products because there's not just one product that's going to work for everyone. If you do have thinner brows, I will say that pencils tend to be a little bit easier, like skinny brow pencils tend to be a little bit easier for thinner brows. If you have fuller brows, something like a brow gel, a tinted brow gel really works well. Most of you know I use Glossier Boy Brow. It's my all-time favorite. It is very user-friendly if you are scared of brows and you just feel like you haven't grasped the concept of using a pencil. Starting out with something like a brow, what is this? It's just called, I mean, it's just like a tinted brow gel, right? Like, am I calling this the right thing? I mean, technically it's a fiber brow gel, so it adds little fibers to your brows. All you have to do is run this through your brows. It's a one and done thing. It adds color, it fills in a little bit, just adds some nice shape. So this is something I would definitely recommend looking into for a beginner. There are drugstore options for these. I know that Essence makes like a pretty good dupe for this one. L'Oreal makes some tinted brow gels. So if you don't want to kind of invest fully in the Glossier one, there are drugstore options. All right, I truthfully think that's it. Again, this wasn't meant to be like a revelation type video. I really just wanted to break down some very simple products that can help you kind of navigate getting into makeup and applying it and just getting familiar with it. Pretty basic here. Just start out with a nice light coverage, breathable product that you're going to feel comfortable in. Try not to overwhelm yourself with buying each product individually when there are palettes out there that kind of have those accessory items in them. And then again, as far as concealer goes, I really truly believe when you combine a sheer base product with a medium or full coverage concealer, you kind of have that perfect combo, and you can allow yourself to customize the coverage. If you have a breakout one day and you need more concealer, you know that since you have that fuller coverage product on hand, it's going to be able to get the job done. And then on days when you feel like you don't need as much coverage, you're going to have your lighter weight product that you feel more natural and breathable in. So if you have any questions for me, leave them down below. I will have every single suggestion down below for each category. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.